Right, round 4, and we're changing yarn colour again, and we're using the corally colour. It's a peachy colour for me, but coral colour. So basically we are emulating these little, or we're pulling through the colour of the little buds around the centre here. So I'm going to be joining again into the short edge, and I'm going to be joining my yarn into this chain space, which is the chain space that sits before the centre of those 2 clusters, 3 clusters, all right, 3 clusters, 2 chain spaces, and I'm joining into the one to the right here. All right, so we're going to be making some nice easy double crochet here, or single crochet US terminology. I'm going to start by pulling up a loop just to change the yarn, and if you want to do that little trick of leaving it nice and loose so you can remove that strand later, that works perfectly well here. If you're not sure what I'm talking about there, have a little look at the early rounds of the daylily. So in these chain spaces we're going to be putting 5 double crochet all the way through. 2, 3, 4 and 5, and it is lovely. It's covering up some of the chains, okay, and we will work more rounds to cover up other chains, but for now we're just dealing with the little buds. They look like little buds at the end. Sorry, so 5 double crochet into that first chain space, hopping over and doing 5 into the next one. No chains or anything between them. Okay. And we're going to sort of mimic what's gone before here. And by that, I mean I'm going to do 3 chain to bring me down to this little stitch that we've made in the middle here. I'm just going to sort of put that into the middle. So 3 chain, 1, 2 and 3. And I'm going to make a stitch here, but I'm not going to go into the top as we normally would. I'm going straight through the middle of the stitch. Can you see? My hook is going underneath the top parts, and I've got each strand of the stitch either side of my hook there. It's going straight through the middle. It just creates, when we've got another couple of rounds on, it creates a really nice little sort of bud look there. So it's really pretty. So straight through the middle, another 3 chain and 5 double crochet. So it's really, that's kind of all there is here really. There's some lots of nice double crochet. Again, I think, and you know, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you could do this in front of the TV once you got going. So where there's chains, put chains. Do you know what I mean? And where there's this double crochet, put a double crochet. Now here is slightly different. So I've gone straight through that stitch again. We do not have any chains to emulate here, so do not put any in. We're just going to fill up that center point with our 5 double crochet. Don't need to add anything in there. It keeps that sort of dip nice and neat and enclosed. So I guess what I'm saying here is follow your pattern very carefully, because whilst you might be tempted to just keep bouncing along by adding in these 3 chains between everything, when you get to this dip down here, we're just omitting the chains either side of those 5 double crochet, and we're going, you can see, can't you, the double crochet sort of sit right next to these this pair of treble 2 togethers. So we're just going to kind of fill in the stitches as we find them. All right, so I need to take some steps to get over to here. I didn't need to do that with those last 2 stitches. I hope that makes sense. Really, just, you know, do follow that pattern. There's a lot of instructions, I get that, in these patterns. So if it's easier for you when there's a lot of instructions on a particular round, and that by the nature of it, there is for this beautiful ornate edging, do not worry. Write them out in a way that you can kind of read going down on each line, or going down a line, or however works for you. Do it, because it's I've seen lots of people do that. I do it myself. Okay, so those are the components of this edging, and I'm working the short edge now, and it's slightly different to the long edge. The long edge is sort of much more uniform, if you like. You do not have any variations. You are always using chains to skip along. There's none of the buds have kind of no chains between them, so it's much easier to follow. I won't bother showing you a long edge because it's much easier to follow. Just read your pattern and make sure you just pay attention to the fact that the chain length is slightly longer on the long edge. It's 4 chain rather than 3. All right, and in fact, where I am now, can you see this is that little bit where there is no chains between it? You don't get any of that on the long edge. So I won't make you watch me do all of this. I'll get enough done so that we can move on and have a little look about how we work the next round.